Welcome to you once again in the Department of English, RBNB College, Sri Rampur, and you are watching a video on the romance of a busy broker, the story written by the famous American short story writer O. Henry, and it is prescribed for the first term FYBA English General Paper 1. Now, here is the lesson plan for you. Now, we are going to study this story according to our plan. First, that is the introduction, and in the introduction, we will know about life, feature and contribution of O. Henry in English literature. Next, the second part of this story, we are going to study about the setting of the setting of the short story. The third part relates with the plot. This is the main part of the story, and in this part, first one is, that is Miss Leslie, who is the heroine of the story. We are going to study how she was a beauty. O. Henry describes the beauty of this heroine and what is her position in the office. The second part of the plot or the story, it relates to the appointment of a new secretary. The third part of the plot describes the hectic schedule of the office. The fourth part describes the temptation of the heroine's beauty. The last part, that is the fifth part of the plot, it describes how Harvey Maxwell proposes the heroine, Miss Leslie, and what is her response. Okay, then the fourth point is the twist in the story, and this is the end part of this story, that is twist. What is twist? Twist means nothing else but the surprising ending, or we can say unexpected ending of the story, which O. Henry is famous for. So, we'll study it now one by one. And so, the first one is, we'll have to study life, features and contribution of O. Henry in English literature. The full name of O. Henry is William Sidney Porter, but he writes his stories under the pen name of O. Henry. He was born on 11th of September 1862 and passed away on June 5, 1910. He was one of the popular short story writers in America, or we can say he is one of the famous short story writer of America. His father was a medical doctor, but unfortunately the author lost his mother at the age of 3 only, and he was nourished by his grandfather and aunt. Then throughout his life, when we study the life of O. Henry, we find that his life is full of struggle. There is conflict in his life, even his family life, his relations with the other family members, even with his wife. When he works at the various fields, and how he was, we can say, under pressure, or how he suffered in his job. So this is the man who knows the struggle, who we can say lived the life of struggle, and that is why it may be the reason why O. Henry's short stories are so popular. Near about 600 stories he has written, and they are, we can say, world famous short stories. We have a number of short stories. We are also studied one of it at compulsory level, or up to 12th, you might have studied the short stories of O. Henry. So, who is the famous one? What are his features of his reading? Why he is so popular? So, let us have to in short. First of all, he takes his character from the common people. Now, gone are those days, because long ago, the heroes and heroines are either gods and goddesses, kings and queens, prince and princess. But O. Henry's characters, his heroes, his heroines, his villains, or protagonists, antagonists, they belong to common family, average family, or we can say they belong to common category. The next one is, the next feature of his short story, he is famous for his wit. He is famous for word play, because he is known as the master of the word. When we study his literature, we find that there is the tearful smile in his short stories as well as novels even also. Then he is also famous for the dramatic plot. When we study the stories of O. Henry, you will study that the plot has features of drama. In this story, you will also notice the same thing, that this story, The Romance of a Busy Broker, has also dramatic plot. Then the last feature of O. Henry is that he is famous for his twist. I already explained the meaning of twist, which means surprising ending or unexpected ending. Such a kind of end is not expected to the readers of the story. After reading this story, after understanding this story, you will also notice the same thing, that the end of this story is also unexpected. We never expect it. It is surprising one, and this technique is known as the twist. And O. Henry is famous for his twist. Now he has written number of books. I would like to give few examples. Especially, he has written the collection of books, collection of short stories, and among them, The Cabbage and the King, which was published in 1904, The 4 Million, which was published in 1906, and The Ransom of Red Life, which was published in 1910. So these are some of the popular examples of his work. Now I come to the after we can say the introduction, that is life, then features and contribution to English literature. I come to next point, that is about the setting. What is setting? Setting means the place where the story takes place. It is known as setting of the short story or setting of novel, etc. As far as this story is concerned, The Romance of a Busy Broker is concerned, the action takes place in Harvey Maxwell's office, which is located in New York. So first thing we notice that the story starts in the office of Harvey Maxwell, and the place is given, that is New York. So who is Harvey Maxwell? He is the protagonist of the story, or we say hero of the story. Then I would like to focus your attention that when the story starts, the actual story starts, it is the time of morning, and the story starts at 9:30 a.m. 9:30 at morning the story starts. Now there are when you study the features of story, short story, how short story is different from a full-length novel, one notable thing is that there is no complexity in the plot, or in short story few actions takes place. Generally it is one action takes place. That is why it is known as short story, while in the novel number of action takes place. Then the another difference is about the characters. In the short story there are limited characters, while in the novel we have number of characters. So we have to understand their relations, etc. As far as this story is concerned, there are only 3 characters described. And who are they? The first important character is Harvey Maxwell, who is the protagonist or hero of the story. And the main feature of this character, he is absent-minded person. He is a busy broker in New York office. That means he works in the office which is related to the finance. Okay. Now, the second character is Miss Leslie. So, Miss Leslie is the heroine of this story. Okay. So, see here in this story, we are told how she is beautiful, we can say, lady. Her beauty is described. Her beauty, she is while describing the beauty, we are told every details of it, that how she looks like, what kind of dress she wear, or her eyes, her cheeks, etc., her lips, they are described. It describes the beauty of Miss Leslie, who is the heroine of the story, and she is the personal secretary of Mr. Harvey Maxwell. Now here you see, Mr. Maxwell is a busy broker, and Miss Leslie is his personal secretary. That means they work in the same office. This is clear to me. Then the third character is Mr. Pitcher, who is the we can say minor characters, but he is a personal clerk in the office, in Harvey Maxwell's office. So as far as the characters are concerned, there are again 2 types of characters, that is main characters and minor characters. Here the hero and heroine plays the main role, so we can say they are main characters, while Mr. Pitcher is the minor character who helps in the development of main characters. In course of time, you will notice this thing, how Mr. Pitcher helped to develop the character of Mr. Harvey Maxwell and Miss Leslie. Okay. Now this, I come to the next point, that is how Miss Leslie is described in the story, or we can say beauty of Miss Leslie and her position in the office. So here, Miss Leslie, beauty and position. Now, as already I said, that O. Henry is a master of words. In very few words, he is able to describe his characters, and when he writes about the characters, the imaginary pictures come in front of the reader's eyes. Now, how she is described, how her beauty is described, you see, first of all, she is a young lady. She is a beautiful lady, and her beauty is compared that she is as beautiful as the bud of rose. Okay, so these 2 words are sufficient to describe her beauty, and those words are bud of rose. She wears very simple, and simple. So we can say she is simple mannered heroine. She doesn't like to wear the fashionable dress. And one more thing is said, that she is the personal secretary of Harvey Maxwell for a year. That means for 1 year, she is doing the job of personal secretary of Harvey Maxwell. Now, when the story opens, O. Henry tells about her appearance. What kind of dress she wear, we are told in detail. That is, she wear gray and plain we can say dress, which suit her very well, or which fit her very well. She also wear a black hat on her head, and in the black hat she put the golden feather of a parrot. Golden feathers of a parrot. With the help of feathers, the birds can fly. So she puts the feathers of parrot on her cap. First of all, she is a young. Her dress, that is grey and plain, it is suit to her. She wear a cap with having the feathers of parrots. Then we are told that she has. Then after describing the, we can say, her wearings, O. Henry describes the beauty of this heroine, Miss Leslie. And to describe her beauty, he says, she has dreamily bright eyes and has rosy cheeks. She wears no chain, no bracelet or no locket. Still she looks very beautiful. I here remember the line by John Keats, that is, beauty needs no ornaments. So in case of Leslie, I think this is the perfect description of Miss Leslie. Beauty needs no ornaments. Though she never wear the ornaments, still she looks more beautiful due to the description which I have said about you. Now, at the same time, she is the main attraction of the hero or the protagonist, that is Harvey Maxwell. So she is the main attraction of her. In short, you can say that this is near to love story which takes place in Harvey Maxwell's office. Now when the story opens, here the story opens with the minor characters, and that is Mr. Peacher. So it is the time of 9:30. And at 9:30, our hero of our story, that is Harvey Maxwell, he enters in the office in a very funny manner, because this is the busiest day of the office. And so there are heap of papers were waiting for him. Nearly about he jumped the papers. He flung on it. He jumped and he goes to his desk to work. So then Miss Leslie goes to his compartment or his office. They talk on some official matter. Then she comes out and she asks a question to Mr. Peacher. What she says: did Maxwell say anything about appointing new secretary yesterday? Because yesterday she heard that Harvey Maxwell would like to appoint a new secretary. And so she asked the personal secretary, Mr. Peacher, did Harvey Maxwell say you something about appointing a new secretary? And he says, yes. He said me to appoint a new secretary. So I also informed the agency who supplies the secretary. I also called them. I have given them the time, that is 9:30 for the interview, but nobody still comes. And in this way, Mr. Peacher informs that their boss or Harvey Maxwell needs a personal secretary. And he also says that how he contact or how he communicated with the agencies to send the girls. And Miss Leslie thinks to then Miss Leslie, she thinks I am doing my work properly. Why my boss would like to appoint another secretary? So but she never say anything. She only says, I will work as usual until someone come and fill the place. That means she would like to say that until some would take my place, I would like to work sincerely here, or I will work there in the office. Now here the next part of the plot is, that is the hectic schedule. What is hectic schedule? Hectic means busy, we can say. Nobody have time. Hectic schedule. Schedule means timetable. In short, we can say this is the busiest day in the office, and everyone is so busy, or there is no place for the human being. And then we are told how the office is busy, how the hectic schedule makes everyone busy. First of all, here human beings are working just like the machines, because this is a private sector, especially the finance sector. And in this finance sector, they hardly get the time to talk with one another or share his or her view with one another. They goes on as per the schedule, and today's schedule is very tight. Even it is hard for them to think themselves. We see next, O. Henry describes how our hero is busy with his works, and he says his hands are full of papers and teleprinter tapes. Means he has number of paper, he possesses number of papers, he just opens and closes it. Yeah, and he decides that such and such thing I have to do. Lot of, we can say, ideas comes in his mind. So his hands are full of papers and teleprinter tapes. The telephone rings non-stop. Nowadays we have mobile, but in those days, for the office work, telephone is used, and it was ringing continuously. Someone calls, somebody takes the call, and immediately the person gets another call. So this is the busiest. It describes how the schedule is tight, how the schedule is, we can say, hectic one. Then orders to buy and to sell come and go like a flight of birds. What a description. That is why I said O. Henry is the master of words. How the orders to buy and sell come in the department. They come and go very rapidly. Very rapidly? Fast. Very rapidly, like flight of birds. And then there is a crowd. What is crowd? Number of people gather together to their job, or we can say to their work in this office. So the office is full of other peoples other than the servicemen, we say. So the words they continue here, that is stocks and bonds and shares and securities, everybody is talking on it. So nobody is talking about the personal things. These words are uttered in the office, and there is the messenger boy, one who gives message to the another member in the office. So he is known as messenger boy. So this messenger boy runs in and out, gives the messages, gives the papers, gives the telegrams, etc. Means he has also no time, he is also busy. The clerks, sometimes they want to go to that table or another table, want to meet to somebody, sometimes hurriedly they jumps because they don't know how the work is going on, and it is mechanically going on. There is no passion, there is no emotion, there is no personal feelings. Okay, and that is why I said, even O. Henry described the hero of our story, that is Maxwell, Harvey Maxwell. He says there is a machine on the chair, and this machine is nobody else but Harvey Maxwell, because human being becomes the machine. So the speed of job, when there is the speed of job, it creates tension, it creates pressure, and this pressure or tension is a tremendous one, very huge one, very large one. And so suppose sometime this pressure or this tension would help to commit the mistake or human errors, we say. In short, we can say, from the boss to the messenger, they are as busy as B-double-E. Okay. Now, Mr. Peacher informs that meanwhile what happened? One girl comes in the office and she came here for the interview, because Harvey Maxwell yesterday had given the message that he wants a new secretary. So the information was sent to the agency, and one candidate comes for the interview. So Mr. Peacher goes to Mr. Harvey Maxwell and he says, one of the lady comes here for the interview. And Maxwell says, interview? What interview? And he says, Peacher says, ab job. Harvey Maxwell again says, job? What job? And then Peacher says, you asked me to send the message in the agency because you want a personal clerk, and that is why one of the interview here comes for the interview, for the job interview. And Harvey Maxwell was surprised, and he says, no, you are wrong. I never gave such a kind of message yesterday. I don't remember. Now see, this is the result of the tremendous tension. This is the result of tremendous pressure. And Harvey Maxwell is absent-minded character. Because O. Henry would like to show that this character is absent-minded. And what is absent-minded? Absent-minded means one who usually forgets the things. And here is the first example, that he gave the message to Mr. Peacher to ask to appoint new secretary, personal secretary, and only a day passed and he forgot that he has given such a kind of message. The two things are described here. The two times or two examples here O. Henry describes, which shows absent-mindedness of Harvey Maxwell, and this is the first one. Okay, and he rebukes Mr. Peacher. He becomes angry and he says, no, I haven't given such a kind of order. So and ask that girl to that we don't want any personal secretary. When that girl listened it, because she was prepared, she came with full preparation for the interview, and when the girl reached at the office, and then she was told that there is no interview, so she became naturally nervous and she angrily left the office. And while then Harvey Maxwell started to praise Miss Leslie, and he says to Mr. Peacher that he says, you are losing your mind. That means you don't remember the things nowadays. Actually, who forgets it? That is Harvey Maxwell forgets the thing. He is absent-minded, but he scolds Mr. Peacher and he says, "You are losing your mind, Mr. Peacher. Why should I have given you such an order? Why should I have given such an order? Miss Leslie has given perfect satisfaction during this year, and the place is here. As long as she likes." It indicates that it is depend on her, Miss Leslie. I don't want any kind of new secretary, because she gave the perfect, we can say, satisfaction for the job. Indirectly, he would like to say that she is perfect in her work. She is neat in her work. She works very properly, etc. And she is sincere. She is honest. And he says to Peacher, "I don't want any other lady secretary." And here, the half part of this short story ends. Our main plot, in the main plot, here the hectic schedule, the third part of the plot ends, and the next one is how Harvey Maxwell is tempted. Tempted means attracted, or we can say the lilac smell, sweet smell or delicious smell tempted Harvey Maxwell. It is a time of, we can say, afternoon. O. Henry says it is a time, it is a lunch hour. So at the time of lunch hour, there was the slight pause in uproar, because it was uproar in the office. The sound becomes silent. Why? Because there is, we can say, break. Because there is lunch break. And so due to the lunch break, the uproar becomes silent. Or we can say loud noise becomes silent. And Maxwell, again, he has lot of papers in his hands and telegrams, the letters, etc. with, or we can say his hands is full with papers and letters, and he just, we can say, when he takes some rest, then he feels that lilac stain comes out through his open window. Now, before the break, he never feel the smell, but in this break, in this lunch break, he feels, that is the lilac smell. And then he noticed from which direction it is coming, and he noticed that it is coming through the window, and it comes through the open window of Miss Leslie. Miss indirectly says that smell comes from her room, and her room or her compartment, it is 20 steps away to compartment or office of Harvey Maxwell, and the smell makes him stand still for some time. What is stand still? Like without any moving, he stands still without making without any movement. Okay, he stands still, and he forgets that he has been working in the finance department, finance sector, because when he works in the office, he becomes the machine, and when there is a break, when there is lunch break, then the finance sector, we can say, in brain is closed for a few minutes or half an hour. and he starts to think about his personal life. And this smell makes him stand still. And then immediately, because his there are number of papers in his hands, he also has a pen, and he puts his pen on his right ear, upon his over his right ear, and his hair just hangs untidy over his forehead. This is my forehead. So the hair untied very over his forehead. So it means he has no time to look after himself even also. It indicates how Harvey Maxwell is busy in his work. And the next part, that is Harvey Maxwell proposes Leslie. When he notices the smell, he peeped through the window, he looked at the heroine, that is Miss Leslie. He noticed the beauty of Miss Leslie, her cheeks, her lips, her body structure, her we can say her dress, everything. In short, we can say she is so beautiful today, or he is trapped with her beauty, and he wants to communicate something with her. So he goes, reaches at her compartment, he put his shoulders on her desk, and he says, Miss Leslie, he declares his love, and he says that Miss Leslie, I have one moment to spare. That means, Miss Leslie, I want to talk with you. Can you spare a few moments for me? And then he says, I want to say something in a moment. I have to decided to finish what I am going to say within those moments. And what he says, will you be my wife? Will you be my wife? Here it means this Harvey Maxwell fell in love with her. He is attracted towards her beauty, or he is found in the trap of this beauty, and he decides to declare his love. He decides to open himself, and so he says, will you be my wife? I haven't had time to show my love to you. He says, as I am busy, I am failed to show my love at you in the ordinary way, but I really do love you. Talk quick, please, because I am so busy. I am in a hurry. Please accept my love and accept my proposal to marry you. Then, at the last part, the response of Miss Leslie is described. When she listened every word of Harvey Maxwell, she was surprised. She was surprised because it is a very strange kind of demand, strange kind of proposal. Why it is strange? Let us have to see in the last part. She only says, what are you talking about? When he says, will you be my wife? She says, what are you talking about? And he says, don't you understand what I said? Hey lady, I fell in love with you, and I want to marry you. So she was surprised, because it is the strange and pleasant surprise for her. See, immediately the tears from her eyes, her wondering eyes, starts to roll down on her cheeks. Okay, she only smiles very cheerfully and tells him that, hey man, you are giving me proposal, but you forget one thing. And what is that thing? We have already married yesterday at 8 o'clock in the little church around the corner. Means Harvey Maxwell and Miss Leslie, they are already married yesterday, and this man forget within a day that he has married the beautiful lady due to the pressure, due to the tremendous pressure, due to the tremendous tension, due to the because he is a machine and there is no place for the individual's feelings and emotions. Here the story takes the twist because we the readers expect something else, and the story takes a surprising end. So this is the ending of the story, and here the plot ends. Now I come to the last part of this story as per our lesson plan, and that is the conclusion. Here I like the technique of O. Henry to use the dialogues, even the setting. The story has realistic setting, realistic characters belong to the common we can say community or common class. Their dialogue makes the story just like the dramatic effect, we can say. So this dramatic effect is one of the important aspect of these stories. So this humdrum business, how makes man absent-mindedness, is described in this story. The title of this story is apt and suitable. The characters of Harvey Maxwell is a humorous one due to his absent-mindedness. It creates humor. The story also contains wit and irony, and would like to describe how the modern age, it is an age of worry and tension and pressure, but there is the love is, in this mechanical life we say, love is the only ray of hope. Here O. Henry would like to say, and the art of characterization and the simple and lucid style of this story makes it very interesting. I hope you like this video. Thank you to spare time with me. Thanks you again.